Great rising, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Great awakening. Oh! I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. It's a beautiful day in Zamunda. Happy Friday. Oh, wow. I was just sitting here thinking, I'm going through some learning experiences right now. And I remember coming across this passage regarding emotions, right? And how as you evolve, right, you become more emotionless. But the way that we've been taught about emotions, I'm going to share a different insight about becoming emotionless, right? So this video is going to be titled, your journey and your spiritual awakening and becoming emotionless, because emotionless is a sign of evolutionary growth in your soul, as your soul being, right, having a human experience. And it's not quite what you might think it is, right? All right, so here we go. We have been taught to we have been taught to respond mostly from a negative sense of understanding with certain things. So when you hear emotionless, you tend to automatically go to the idea that it means something negative, not necessarily positive. But I'm here to share a different insight where that is concerned, because there is a difference. There is a difference with the same, idea. So I feel like in my journey that I'm becoming more emotionless. Not because I don't care. It's quite the contrary, because you actually do love. You do have more compassion. But when you get to this point, you come to realize that there's no need to respond with a lot of things with an emotional value, because you understand it from a different perspective. Just like, if someone dies and, certain tragic events and different things of that nature, it's not to say that you don't care. You just, there's a deeper side of you that know that, all is really well. It may not look that way here, within this dimension, in this frequency, this low vibratory frequency, and that sense of understanding. It may not look that way, and it may not even feel that way. But when you raise your vibration at this extent, you become more emotionless, and you have more compassion, and you have more peace with the situation, because you realize at a soul level that all is well, right? At a soul level, right, in terms of the events and things that take place at this level, at this dimension, so when you see people and they want to engage into other things, something that is not necessarily, you may look at it like let's say relationship, you have a bad relationship with your significant other, your spouse, your mom, you look at it as a bad relationship, okay? And then you finally make peace with it, right? But then you grow into this other aspect of, not only do you got peace with it, even when you see certain things about them that you tend to understand from a different set of understanding, you gain more compassion. So when things come at you at a negative way, where you would have responded in the the traditional way of how we've been taught to respond, you won't respond. You won't respond that way, because you have a different sense of understanding of what's really going on. And then there's a much deeper side of you, a much deeper part of you that overstands that you don't have to attach that emotional value, because even though it looks, the way that it looks on this side, on the other side of you at a soul level, all is well, right? It's not what it is. So, and you have a tendency of having a compassion for it, but you're not going to emotionally respond in a reactive way, like how we would normally respond in a reactive way. You're not going to do that because it's just not there. It's not there for you to react because you've raised your vibration. Your vibration is higher, you know it. So you become, it appears that you are emotionless about things, but you're not. You're just at a different level, at a different sense of understanding. You actually have more compassion to the situation, more so than anything. But you're not reactive with a negative emotional value or a low vibratorial sense. It's really vibration. You're not reactive in a sense of low vibration. A lot of people say, well, crying is cathartic and this and that or whatever. Yes, crying is cathartic when you cry to release those energies, those low vibratorial energies, so that you can release them, set them free, so that you could be free from it, so that you can raise. It's only there for like a temporary, to help you. It's there to help you release, lower vibrations, so that you can go back to your higher self, or go back to a higher a vibratorial resonance of yourself, of your being, right? It's not to stay to dwell. Mourning is not to stay and to dwell, right? Because at a frequency level, to mourn something, that's why a lot of times, a lot of people now don't say good morning, because of the vibratorial resonance that, in saying that and speaking that brings. It's low vibratorial in nature, right? Because it's mourning and different things of that nature. So, it's these little things that are there, the crying and different things like that. Yes, they're there. They're tools to help you release low vibratorial things, get it out, free it, so that you become renewed, so that you can raise your vibration and elevate yourself. It's not to stay and dwell in. So me personally, it's not to say that I don't care about, people in terms of, they die or whatever the case may be. I do, but I have a different level of consciousness to know that only the physical side of them is gone. It's not, it's the real true essence of who they are still remains, right? And if we understood energy from that perspective, we'll realize that, hey, at a telepathic, for those who have telepathic abilities, you can energetically communicate because it's energy. Just like how you can hear people talking over the sound waves and different things of the nature, your cellular phone, and all of these things, these transmitted type energies. What do you think that comes from? If you are able to rid yourself of low vibratorial beliefs, then you would be able to communicate telepathically, with entities that are people that were physical here and no longer here, and they're just energy now. But we're not taught that. We've been grossly watered down through belief systems that goes against the better good of who we are. But that's my spiel with that. I just wanted to share that with you guys because, it's not that you become emotionless. It's just that you no longer subscribe to react to certain situations in a low vibratorial sense of response, right? High vibration is to respond compassionately, in compassion. Okay. To mourn something is low vibration, and it's not to say that you can't mourn, of course, but don't stay there. To mourn is to allow you to release, get yourself, back up and get yourself back running, because it's there for those who need that. It's there for those who need that release, that just can't, that's not there to just don't allow it to begin with. But if you allow it, the mourning and the crying and all of those things are there as a mechanism to utilize it, to release those vibratory energies and free it, so that you yourself can become free to receive energies of high vibration. It's not to stay, it's not to dwell. It's just a tool. It's just something to use and to get you through it, but it's not there for you to stay in it. It's not there for you to dwell in it. Okay. But that's basically it. So, we become emotionless. They're the people that are high frequencies that become quote unquote, or they appear that they're emotionless. It's not that they are emotionless. It's just that they choose to respond or react to situations that are high in frequency and not in low vibratorial frequency. It doesn't take away the care or concern that a person may have, in situations that are less desired, but it's like a preservation of their energy. They're not going to contribute to something that is low in vibration for some of us is not going to do it at all. But if there are some people that do decide to do it because they a little bit is still stuck into the societal conformity aspect of their existence, they'll do it for a little bit and then it's done. You know what I'm saying? I'm that person, but I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to be around that. I just, and for me, it's funerals. Right? It's not that I'm afraid of the dead or anything like that, or like I'm, in fear of it spiritually or anything. It's just that I don't want to be. When you go into a setting like that and you hear all the moaning and the crying and all of that, and it's just, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be around it. That's the part that I don't be around it. To give you an example, if they had a funeral and nobody was there and it was just me and the body, right? The body. And I go and pay my respects, to this physical existence no longer being the case, for this spirit, for this energy. And I walk in and there's nobody crying and mourning and all this other kind of stuff, then I'm good. If I really want to pay respect to the dead, you know what I'm saying, in that way. And even thinking about that, like, it feels weird because I know that they're not dead. See, that's where the trick come in, right? Because the physical side of them is, and so you'll ask yourself, like, why am I looking at a dead body? Like, there's nothing. It's just a shell. It's like a doll or something. It's no life there, and the life that I want to acknowledge is no longer housed in this body, right? So why am I, acknowledging a body that the life of the real true essence of who that person is or was, or whatever the case may be, how you want to look at it, is no longer there. You're acknowledging the body, right? Which is fine, but for me, I rather acknowledge the life. So, like, to give you an example, let's say if they didn't have the body there, right? And it was just people sitting there and they were talking about their life in a positive way, in an uplifting way, and nobody's crying and nobody's mourning. There's nobody there. Everybody is just congregating and gathered to pay tribute to the life. Because the thing of it is that if you were to have a quote unquote funeral to pay homage to the life that person had in their human experience, that's different, right? Because you don't have the body there to mourn over and this and that or whatever. And the energy will be different because you're speaking uplifting things. People are not crying, they're not mourning, they're not doing anything, and you're speaking in high frequency to the energy that still exists same way, in my opinion, right? So if it was something like that, like a memorial, like what they call a memorial, I can more deal with that. Especially if it's a memorial that is in high frequency, that they're talking about them as if they still exist, because in the energetic realm, the energy cannot be destroyed, it only can be transformed. If they're talking in a sense, whereas if they still exist, like wherever you at, power, if they're talking in an uplifting way, that's different. That's a whole nother different atmosphere, right? So it allows you to have an emotion of high frequency. But when you get to the aspect where you don't subscribe to those low vibratorial energies and stuff like that, then people look at you and say you are emotionless. It's just you're just conscious of where you're going to delegate your energy, and you're not going to delegate your energy in low vibratorial things, because you have a different understanding of what life really is, and you support the living in all shapes and forms of, no matter what it is, whether it's just energy alone, or if it's just a person that's incarnated in the body. You support the living, you support life, because there is no such thing as death, right? There is no such thing as death in a higher sense of understanding. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it's long-winded. I wasn't trying to be long-winded. I looked at the 8-minute mark and I was trying to stop, but it just got carried away. So with that being said, if you have any questions, just jot it down and just leave a comment or whatever, and we could talk about it, because I love talking about these things. This is just my opinion. It's not etched in stone or anything like that. Everybody have their own journey and stuff to, how they, understand things or overstand things. But this is just my opinion, and I hope that it is a good one, that it makes some type of sense, right? All right. So love you guys. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful day in Zamunda, my world. And I just love you guys immensely, and we are amazing. You are amazing. Always know that you are the best thing since anything. Try and know that. All right, so love you guys. Mwah, and I shall commence to talking with you guys later.